My name's Tim Johnson. This channel is about recovery from opiate and alcohol dependence. There's over 155 videos on it now, and please, if you find this video useful, subscribe and like and share if you think anyone else might find it useful, because it'll give more people access to them, and that's really all that matters. It's a channel about me sharing my experience after 35 years of addiction and the new path I've discovered over the last 2 to 2.5 years, just over 2 years now of being sober. This video today is about opiate withdrawal. It's a subject that frightens many people, but I think half the battle about opiate withdrawal is understanding it and understanding what's happening to your body. And in this video I'm going to share that, and I'm also going to share something called the 3Ds, which are 3 essentials, I think, to actually get through opiate withdrawal successfully and out the other side. There's a video further into, or a couple of videos on the channel, which go into preparing and getting through opiate withdrawal in a lot of detail, all the bits and pieces you'll need. But this video is more about understanding it and as I say, these 3 essentials, the 3Ds, getting through it. Opiate withdrawal is inevitable. If you're dependent on opiates, obviously at some point, if you decide that it's time to change and time to recover, then you're going to have to go through an opiate withdrawal. It doesn't matter whether you've been on maintenance for many years, if your habit's been intravenous or whatever, if you've been on Suboxone, methadone, it's still inevitable that you will have to go through opiate withdrawal. Really, it's a rite of passage in a sense. And also a lot of people really fear it, and I think that stops a lot of people making the change and actually going through it. They either fear it because they've been through it before and they know what to expect and what's coming, or they fear it because it's the unknown, and a lot of us fear the unknown. But to get through opiate withdrawal, you're going to need to face that fear, and half the battle of facing the fear is understanding what's happening to your body in the withdrawal. It's a massive change to the brain. When you take opiates for any length of time, even if you take them only for a few weeks, if you've been prescribed them for pain and whatever, they change your brain quite radically. It's amazing, and they affect every part of your brain, and consequently, because of that, they affect the workings of your body. Many more opiate receptors are created in the brain as you take opiates, and it takes more and more opiates to satisfy those receptors, which is why really after a while of a habit, you don't actually get high anymore. Really, it's just about maintenance. It's about as it was for me, it was about just staying well, just taking opiates to stay well and to stave off withdrawal. But as I say, inevitably comes a time you want to make that change, and that's a whole other subject, but you're going to have to go through that withdrawal. So your brain, what does it do to your brain? Well, many things happen during that. Many people have heard horror stories about withdrawal, and let me just say first of all that withdrawals differ. Everyone you speak to has had probably different experiences, but a few of the symptoms always remain the same, and it's inevitable that they're going to happen to you. But please, if people tell you horror stories about withdrawal, don't let that put you off, because there's ways of managing it. And as I say in a video further in the channel, there's many techniques that you can use. So obviously the symptoms, the first thing to remember is when you stop taking opiates, and you've been on them for any length of time, and your body is dependent upon them, your brain is dependent upon them, then immediately you stop, your body starts to go into something called homeostasis, or tries to achieve something called homeostasis. And homeostasis is the natural balance of the body's chemicals and systems. And the body's a miracle, because it will, whatever damage you've done to it, it will always try and get back to that state of homeostasis. So immediately you stop taking opiates, you're going to feel some symptoms. and it's best to be aware of those symptoms, what's actually happening. But the thing to remember is that all these symptoms you're experiencing is your body and mind healing. You know, you must keep that in your mind all the time. This is me healing. Yes, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, it's all the rest of it, but it is me healing. So first of all, there's that initial anxiety and twitchiness and the feeling of dark depression that starts to zoom down on you, but that initial anxiety, and that's because opiates stop your brain producing serotonin and dopamine and endorphins. Eventually they take the place, the opiates take the place of those systems that create those chemicals. So your brain has actually stopped making them, it's stopped getting used to making them. So initially you've stopped the opiates and there's still no serotonin and dopamine going into your brain, into your, you know, so you're going to get this feeling of anxiety, you're going to get this feeling of black doom and depression, and that's going to last a fair amount of time, because as your brain heals it starts to slowly produce these chemicals again. But there's many things you can do to help that, as I'll go on to later on. But yeah, that's one reason why you feel that twitchiness and that anxiety. Then of course there's the horrible sweats, there's the hot and cold and all the rest of it, and that's because opiates affect the hypothalamus, which is the temperature control in your brain. They stop it again producing, they stop it working properly. So obviously when you stop taking opiates, it goes haywire, because immediately it starts to wonder what's going on and starts to try and work again, but it's not working properly. So you get this hotness, this coldness, these sweats, these feelings of crawling over your body, you know, and that's because your hypothalamus is trying to kick back in gear and heal. So again, it's healing. So remember that. And then of course there's the horrible insomnia, you know, the days and weeks that go by of you're not getting proper sleep, and that's because opiates suppress the adrenal glands. They stop them working altogether, or slow them right down, so they're producing next to nil noradrenaline. And immediately you stop taking opiates, they kick into gear and go haywire. So your body is flooded with adrenaline. So consequently, again, you're edgy, you know, you've got this feeling of restlessness and it's horrible crawling feeling, and that's because your body is like charged and it can't relax and it can't kick into normal sleep rhythms. And again, this takes time, it's healing. So it takes time for your adrenal glands to get back to normal again and start producing noradrenaline properly and being controlled. You know, all the time your brain's trying to rebalance and recreate the homeostasis and get the chemicals going in the right way, in the right amount. So it's like healing all the time, you know, and getting your own body's endorphins, it's kicking back in again. I mean, there's things you can do for that as well. Then of course there's the terrific diarrhea, and again that's to do with the fact that the opiates sedate the bowel and, you know, and cause massive constipation. You know, so you've been taking opiates a long time, your bowel's not been working properly all that time, you've not been getting rid of waste properly, which is why you feel sluggish and lethargic. But as soon as you stop taking opiates, your bowel will start contracting and you'll get horrific diarrhea. It's inevitable. So you need to keep drinking plenty of water during this, you know, and that goes without saying. You need to keep hydrated, because it's very, very easy to get quickly dehydrated during opiate withdrawal, because you do vomit as well. You know, there's no doubt about that. And there's the trembling and the shaking. Well, in your brain, you know, it's because you're having these mini seizures in your brain. Again, your brain is it's flooded with chemicals. It doesn't know what the hell's going on. The electrical activity in your brain's haywire when it's trying to rebalance. So consequently, you get these mini shocks, if you like, which cause trembling in your hands and your body, you know, and you've got this horrible crawling feeling, and also that creates this restless leg syndrome as well. And there are supplements you can take, which in this other video I mentioned I do go through, but there'll be no time to go through them all in this video. So these are things. They're the sort of main symptoms, if you like. You know, it's and also the pain. Obviously, opiates have masked that pain for so long, whatever in muscular pain and bone pain and whatever you've been taking them for, but also, the aches and pains of your body, the natural aches and pains have been masked for so long. So you're going to feel pains all over your body, and they're going to be magnified because your nerves are trying to come back to life again. But, this is 3 to 5 days at the most you go through the worst of these symptoms. And that's so worth it to come out the other side and know that your body's trying to kick back in and trying to heal. And you understand you're not going to die from this. If you're concerned in any way about your health and about that you're not going to cope with this, and I really do suggest that you try and get through this without taking sleeping pills and Xanax and all the other things. If you have to, you have to. You need to go and see a doctor about it, and maybe he'll prescribe something. But I'll be totally honest with you. My point of view is that, having been through many withdrawals in my life, getting through this one cold turkey was the most successful way, because I understood what was happening to my body. And yes, it was bloody horrible for 5 days, and the insomnia for weeks afterwards was horrible. But over 2 years later now, and I look back on it and a distant memory, I never forget it, because I never want to go back there. But it's been so worth it to rebuild my life again and find true happiness again. So just think of it as your body healing. Now, the 3 Ds I was talking about, and as I say in the video further back in the channel, you'll find a preparation list to get through opiate withdrawal, and one for alcohol withdrawal on a separate video that will help you get through lots of things, from supplements to all sorts. But the 3 Ds I'm talking about in this video, these 3 Ds I think are essential to get through opiate withdrawal successfully. And the first D is an obvious one, really. It's diet. And diet plays such a massive part in the recovery from opiate withdrawal. You need to be drinking plenty of water, preferably with squeezed lemon juice in it, and keeping hydrated at all times. You need to be eating a diet that is nil junk food if you can. Now, you might feel cravings for sugar, and you might need to satisfy those cravings initially, and that's understandable. But try and avoid junk and pre-packaged food wherever you can. Loads of fresh fruits and vegetables if you can. Blend them. If you don't feel like, in the preparation video for opiate withdrawal, I say to blend loads of these nutrient-rich smoothies and put them in the freezer, because you're not going to feel much like preparing food when you're going through the first 3-4 days of withdrawal. And you need to have something ready and easy to eat. So plenty of fresh fruit. Eat it raw. Eat vegetables raw, salads, stuff that's easy to prepare, balanced food, lean, and preferably not pre-packed. And a really good solid multivitamin, mineral, a strong B vitamin supplement, magnesium supplement for restless legs, zinc supplement, and you can't go far wrong. That's the best you can do for your body, and give it a really good opportunity to heal properly. The second D is distraction. The withdrawal is a long, drawn-out, boring process, and you need support from those people around you. Obviously, if you've got support and company, all the better. Someone to look after you, someone to talk to. But distraction means getting as much to read, as many downloads as you can to look at, YouTube videos, stuff that you can have access to that'll educate you, that'll interest your brain, that'll distract you from the symptoms of withdrawal, that'll keep you busy and occupied, that'll fill those nights when you're restless and you're not sleeping and you've got insomnia. So distraction is very, very important. That's the second D. And the final D is the most important one of all to get through this, in my opinion, and that's determination and discipline, if you like. So that's 2 Ds for the price of 1 there, or self-discipline. There's an old story that I always tell on this channel, and that's I went to rehab in 2006, the last time I went to rehab, and it was a 3-month residential rehab, and I met a guy there called Giles, and his motto was just hold on. He used to say all the time, just hold on, particularly when we first got there and we were going through detox and withdrawal and from alcohol and opiates. And he used to say that if you just hold on, that every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month will get slightly better. It'll still be shit maybe, but it'll be slightly better. And when you hold on long enough, you'll see the daylight and you'll get through it, and you'll get through opiate withdrawal, and you'll get out the other side of it. Self-discipline is also extremely important because, you know, it is easy to understand that you can pop out and get a pill or you know, a bag of heroin and end the suffering straight away. You know that in your head you can do that. So you've got to be self-disciplined and master your brain and get rid of those thoughts as soon as they enter your head. Because when you make a commitment to do this, then you need self-discipline and determination. But most of all, you need to just hold on, and you'll come out the other side and you'll find a true happiness and a true success and that you've never dreamed possible. People and things and will come back to you. Loved ones will eventually come back to you, and your life will change so much for the better. It really will. I promise you that from the bottom of my heart. So that's my take on understanding opiate withdrawal and the 3Ds. As I say, my channel, please subscribe to it. Please share the videos if you find them useful. You'll find there's 155 videos now, and you'll find a lot more details about withdrawal further in, as I said. So Carpe Diem, seize the day today. Make the decision to plan, change your life, go through opiate withdrawal. Don't be scared of it, because you need to get through it, and it takes these things to get through it. Thank you for listening. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.